Hi, what up? This is Casual Chris, aka Chris Johns, and I wanted to go over some of my old mixes, some of my older music, my first year making music. I did a lot of I did a lot of tracks and I did a lot on the mixing side of things and made a lot of mistakes. And I'm here to go over these to show you what I would do differently now, knowing what I know now. So, this is a first year project file. Made this on an iPad, so this for all my iPad beat makers, this is very translatable to what you'll be doing when it comes to mixing your songs. So the first thing I notice is all these plugins. My theories on my philosophy on plugin has changed since my first year producing. First year producing, I was throwing on anything, any tutorial that was intriguing. I was trying it out on a new track, and then I was releasing it. Very bad mistake. You definitely want to really know these plugins in and out before you start releasing music under them. That is a common theme of mistakes I've made. Is especially come album time, there was new techniques that I've been trying that I, haven't tried enough, and I did it for an entire album. So yeah, watch out for that. My philosophy came from the creator of Serum, which is one of the few synths I purchased. He was a mix engineer, and one of his lessons to his students was to try to outmix him using any plugins you want, and he's not going to use any plugins. The man's just using gain staging, volumes, really, and he's beating people's mixes. That's what he's doing. He's out here beating people mixing without using plugins. So that's how my philosophy is now. I'm trying to use as few plugins as possible. I'm trying to have the mix, the song sound great before any plugins, before any processing. Sometimes you do need them. Sometimes I'll need an EQ, but it's so few. I would definitely A/B everything that I use, and just come at it with the mindset of you don't need plugins. You don't need plugins. I don't need plugins. And it'll get done a lot faster, maybe even cleaner. So let's go over what it sounds like. What I'm gonna do with this project file, since I heard it, I'm gonna go and start taking off all these plugins. I like the way the max bass sounded, so I'm gonna leave the max bass on it alone. That is a Waves plugin that's basically just adding more stuff to your 98, so giving it a little bit more oomph. Do you need one of those? Yes and no. The reason why I say no is because I think you could get away without it, but that max bass does add a little bit of oomph to the bottom of your tracks, and sometimes you do need that. So I'm going to leave that alone. As for everything else, it's probably going to get taken off. We're going to always listen to it to make sure. I ate and beat them. I made sure that they actually do make the sound good. It's very easy when you're in the ground, when you're mixing, when you've been staring at this screen too long, it's very easy to just start throwing stuff on and thinking that it sounds good. So I just want to go in, A/B it, clean up this project file, make it look nicer, easier to look at, get all the plugins that I took off my entire computer on. I did notice a technique that's probably wrong, and then that's that Chrome reverb. Generally, what you want to do with reverbs is you definitely want to throw an EQ on it, because they add so much nastiness to the bottom. So you definitely want an EQ after the plugin. So there's mistakes like that I see I've made on here. And we're just going to go out and clean this whole project file. Another thing that I like to do is I like to check the EQs, because sometimes I've been listening to it way too long and I'll start EQing this thing, or I listen to it on headphones and I make decisions. So always A/B everything. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm A/Bing it, make sure that it actually takes off what I wanted it to take off. In this case, it does. It sounds like I just wanted the top. Yeah, I don't want the bottom. So leave that EQ on. So the bass sounds great. Next, we'll go over to the drums. Make sure that I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I already listened to that. That sounds cool. Okay, that's fine. The low pass, that's fine. So those are all the same drums. What I'm going to do with those is I'm going to put them in a track stack so it looks better. Really, the only thing I'm using here is EQs. Sometimes, and that's to take out certain frequencies out of the mix. Again, I really make sure that it's doing something and making sure that it's doing the right thing. Good example, not improving the sound. I'm going to take that EQ off and I'm going to rely on gain staging to get the sound to where I want it to sound. So volumes. Okay, so we just went through the whole song just to check to make sure the plugins that are on this song are making it sound good. They're not doing anything else. They're just making this thing sound good. Once they do, we move on. We're not going to spend too much time fiddling with things. We just want them to make sure that we're in a race against time. This crash, we're going to bring it down. We're going to take off some of this highs. Again, I'm leaving all that the top end for my shakers. I want my shakers to come through. This is all done. Let's talk about these buses. Now, I didn't go too crazy on this one. These are reference tracks. But this right here is buses. Doesn't look too bad. I see that endless bus. That's an interesting bus. I wonder what's going on there with that. Oh, that's for the effects. Okay, that's interesting. I don't think I need that bus. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all these buses. These are buses. They're important, but I like these a lot more organized than what I'm looking at. Okay, so delete all those buses. Take all this. We're going to go into stereo. Make sure that it still sounds like it sounds on the buses. This right here is exactly what you want. This is not too many plugins, and this sounds great. This sounds great. You don't need. This is what you need. This is the goal right here. Let me take off all these extra buses right here. That's it. That sounds good. This is all you need right here. And I want to organize it. I want to make it look better on my eyes. So I take all these bases, all the greens, I create a track stack, a summoning stack. I close the track stack so it looks better. I label it bass bus. There you go. Same with these drums. These drums, they all sound the same. They're all the same drum. They're just different. Some have high pass, some have low pass. I'm going to put them all in the same bus. I want them all at the same volume with the same hit, kick bus. All these shakers, bongs, all that other stuff, I call them top drums. And I put them in their own bus. the this anything that's right in here is music. This is all music related. Usually I like to put actual names of the tracks, so they're easier to locate. But track stack them. I call this the music bus. If I mute this bus, no music's coming. All that's coming is just drums and bass. This right here is my FX bus. This is where all the This is where all my bloops, bells, and swishes end up. They're gonna be in their same bus. Boom, FX bus, bow. So now I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buses to mix. A lot better, a lot easier. I'll go ahead and color code these bad boys so I know exactly what I'm doing, what I'm getting into, and it just looks better, easier on the eyes. You just know you work broader instead of focusing on sound per sound, and it just makes things a lot easier. So there you go. These are all my buses. I have them labeled. Easier to mix. All these are going into here, my master bus. Super easy. Now my master, I do use effects, and I will go through all the effects that I use on my master. Compressor, basic compressor. I usually turn this off first because I gotta dial that in. RC20, this is just adding that vinyl sound on the bottom of my records. Decapitator, that's just a saturator. You can use any saturation, but if you notice, it's on very low. Very little saturation, but enough, just enough. Same with this, 100% mix. Dropped it almost nothing. So there's only like 2% saturation. Do you need this on your master? Maybe not, but I do. It gives it a little bit of character. Any saturator will work. You don't need these specific ones. Anyone with a mix knob will work. Golfoss, that's my secret plugin. This is probably the best plugin ever made. What this is going to do is it's going to catch all your nasty songs in your song and tame them, or make it sound better. That's all it is. Tame, recover. Tame, recover. Now on my master, it's kind of ridiculous, but hey man, this is a perfect mix. Song done, finished, blah. This is where I say turn it off. If you are at your first year, turn it off. You don't need to do anything else. This right here is where all you need to do. Anything else is just advanced techniques, and you don't need to use advanced techniques. That's one thing, year one, I wish I would have known is you don't need to split buses. You don't need advanced techniques. This is it. This is make your song sound good. Every song, there you go. There's your formula. Anything else, you're at risk. You're putting yourself at risk. Now, here is an advanced technique that I've been using, and this is more for mastering purposes, and this is taking my drums, or actually taking my kick and bass, depending on the song, but I like to put my kick and bass in the same bus. So here it is, kick and bass, kick plus bass bus, boom. I'll wire it right back to the bus 1, my master. Simple. Now kick and bass are together. My drums, my music, and my FX. Again, music and FX, I usually put them in one bus together. Top drums, it usually depends on what is in the top drums. For this specific track, it's bongos. So I'm going to put them together with the music bus and call it a day. Sometimes I'll put it in the drum. I'll put it in that kick and bass bus and bust them together. It just depends on what instruments are that I'm using. Again, advanced technique. But that's it. Super simple. This is all you need. This is your kicking. This is my everything bus. I call it my everything bus because if I solo this, it's going to be the music and the top drums. Everything above 140 basically. The kick and bus, that's everything below. But hope I didn't confuse. So there you go. Kick and bus, everything bus. Super simple. back into 1. Now, if I want to master this thing, I would put a limiter on every single channel you see highlighted. Every single channel. That's 7 channels. There would be a limiter on every single one. And then on elements that I want a little bit louder, I'd add like 1, 2 dB, no more than that on the specific limiter. But that's it. That's all I would do. And now we're talking mastering tracks. So I'm going to finish this real quick just to show you what a quick master would sound like out of me. I learned this from Ahi. It's Skrillex's. It's the way Skrillex does his things. And basically, you just throw a limiter on everything. You leave it on default settings, or you go into this single channel and get a transparent. That's more for dynamic stuff. Music bus is technically dynamic, so we'll do it on the music bus, and we'll do it on the everything bus, where we're just getting that specific channel setting. But that's it. This is all we're doing. So now we're there. The next thing I would do is I would dial in the suppression setting. It's on 2%, so I'm not really doing much. Same with the decapitator, same with the saturator. I'm not doing much. I'm just adding a little bit, and that's all you need to do is like a little teeny bit, and it'll just make your track groove. It'll glue it all together. And then then I come over here to this limiter right here, and I'd make it louder. Done. Mastering is done. If I wanted let's say I wanted the music bus a little bit louder, poof, go into the music bus, turn it up. Done. And that is, under 30 minutes. That's exactly how I would fix one of my old mixes. Make it sound good, make it sound louder. Master, I just mix and master this bad boy in 30 minutes. So yeah, that's what I would do. And again, with mix and mastering, it is a race against time. You definitely want to do it within 30 minutes, maybe even sooner. It's something that you don't have to overthink. One thing that I've learned my first year producing is a good song. It don't matter what the mix sounds like. I know that sounds crazy, but a good song, even with a bad mix, people are still going to listen to it. It sounds crazy, but people are still going to listen to it. It might sound bad to you, but to someone else, if it's a good song, it's a good song. So you can come back and redo that mix if you need to, but don't sleep on the fact that a good song, it don't really matter what that mix sounds like. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, a bad song, even if you put $100,000 into that mix, it's not going to make anybody like that song. It's not going to make people gravitate to the song because the mix is so beautiful. It don't matter. So, at the end of the day, it's the product, not the shiny wrapping paper. It's the product, the product, the product, the product, the product. So, focus on the product. If this is your first year, focus on making as much music as possible. And just get better. I don't mean get better with your mixing, like adding more plugins. I just mean get better with composing, making the song, making something that people want to listen to again, making something that if you delete it, you're going to get 1,000 Shazams because people are looking for it. Make that song. That's the song. So it's not the mix. That's one thing. If I could go back 5 years ago and tell myself, hey man, you don't need to spend all day on that mix. That's a 30-minute mix, tops. Mix and master. If you know what you're doing, turn it off. Stop listening to it so much. You're hearing things now. It's not there. So just something to think about. If you're a new music producer, maybe if you're a veteran and you're still questioning your music or still listening to your music too long. Just remember, man, a bad mix doesn't ruin a good song. A good mix can't make a song good. So, yeah. Anyways, and you see this project file. Look, it's clean. There's not too many plugins. On the back end, it looks a little bit, but it's clean. There's not. This whole thing isn't filled with plugins. So, uh, keep that in mind. That you don't need plugins. There's a mix engineer out there who made a really good synth that can't be beat. That is mixing music without any plugins, and he's challenging all his students to beat him. So, keep that story in mind. Anyways, I hope this helped. I hope this whole tutorial helped you with your music, your future music, or your past music. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate you. I got a new album coming out February 3rd. Please go listen to it. It took me 6 months to make, and it's my best work to date. So if you guys go listen to it, pre-save it for me. That would mean the world to me. Thank you once again. Have a great rest of your weekend. And we'll see you later, man.